Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Welcome one and all to another episode of the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show. I'm your host, Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we're going to be discussing what might be the greatest movie or video game to movie adaptation ever done.
Yeah, I mean after Mario Brothers, but you can't top that.
Right.
Yeah.
We're of course talking about Uncharted.
Yeah, so
we will be doing a spoiler-free review of the movie, and then giving you a big ol' spoiler warning, and going more in depth into it after that. There are a couple things that are spoilers. If you've never played an Uncharted game before, if you've played the Uncharted games like we have, there was some stuff that from the get-go we were like, all right, so this is gonna happen, this person's gonna do that, that's gonna happen.
Right. Especially when it involved characters that were from the games.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And so anyway,
so if Niall's intro doesn't let you know we liked the movie.
Right. We're both really big fans of the Uncharted series, by the way. Throwing that out there. Played through them a bunch of times. Love those games. But what would you say was the best video game adaptation movie before this?
Maybe Sonic the Hedgehog?
Think Sonic was better than Mortal Kombat?
Oh, that recent Mortal Kombat,
recent one.
That was really good too.
For what it was, for a Mortal Kombat movie, it was really good.
I liked that movie too.
Yeah. So,
I think this movie really though hit the spirit of Uncharted.
Oh, absolutely. So like, it's got a checklist of all the things. Some of the things on the checklist I won't mention because they're technically spoilers. But like I said, there's things that if you've played all the games, are the kind of things you expect from the games. But it had, like a journal from an ancient, or not ancient, but long dead explorer. It had, an artifact that was the MacGuffin and also like needed to activate something.
Yeah.
It had, some long lost treasure involved. It had some, hyper wealthy person also searching for the treasure and is always like half a step behind them. Like it really nails like if you could make a checklist out of all the story points that make an Uncharted game, it's like they just went down the list.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing.
No, that's not a bad thing for something like this. I mean, other than some people griping about the casting. This movie absolutely delivers on like anything the fans could possibly want from an Uncharted movie.
Right. I
by the way, never had a problem with the casting.
I remember when they first announced it, I was like, all right, Tom Holland, yeah, if they're doing a younger Drake.
Which they did.
Because it has like the story. I mean, it's different from the games. It has him and Sully meeting the first time, and it happens
very differently.
Very differently from the games. My only thing was like Sully, I don't know, or for Mark Wahlberg for Sully, but then I like thinking about looking at like all the parts from the games where it has a younger Sully, then you're like, okay, yeah, I can actually see it more.
Like if you actually do a side by side of Mark Wahlberg with the Sully from the flashback sequences in Uncharted 3.
Yeah.
It actually matches up pretty well.
Right, it's actually pretty good casting in that regard. It's just you're used to seeing Sully a little older than that.
Right, and you're used to Mark Wahlberg having arms the size of watermelons.
That's true. His arms aren't quite as big. They're still big, but not quite as big. So yeah, actually, I thought the casting was pretty good ultimately, and like I said, it has a lot of elements from the Uncharted games in there but it's not following the games.
Right.
It's like its own alternate universe.
It's its own thing. It's a completely different treasure than anything they've ever been on the hunt for, but it still has like puzzle sequences that would absolutely be like climbing puzzles in the video games.
Right. And it's
like the video games. It's like you have these puzzle sequences to try to like slow the pacing down between the action sequences.
Yeah. And again, it does have like events sort of, but just told from the games that are told slightly different.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to think of it as this is just a retelling alternate universe of the Uncharted story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it captures the whole essence of Uncharted.
It really
pretty
does.
well.
Like, yeah, this I thought was just about as good as can be expected from a movie adaptation, which gives me hope for the Last of Us series they're doing.
Yeah,
because that's also being produced by this new PlayStation Studios,
right.
right?
And this was their first production.
Yeah,
And we were questioning where that Ratchet and Clank was, and it wasn't.
right.
Apparently, this is their first production, and hopefully, there'll be more Uncharted.
I want them. Yeah, they leave this one open for a sequel, and I want
most
them.
movies do that anyway.
Right, but I mean, and the thing is, like, we went and saw like a mid-afternoon matinee showing, and it was full.
This movie's doing pretty well, I understand.
So I really expect there to be another one.
Yeah, apparently critics aren't really liking it that much because they think it's dumb and stupid,
Yeah,
but that's what you...
Fine, but how many Transformer movies did they make?
Right, and this is by far better than...
Right, as long as it keeps
movies.
making money, they'll keep making them.
Yeah, and I think they should. I think this has the potential for like a whole series of movies.
Right. Yeah, there's some, obviously we'll be able to get into more detail with some of the stuff in the spoiler section, but yeah, it really just, everything that, if you've played through all of them, it really does like feel like an Uncharted storyline. Very much so. Just without the loading times between scenes.
Yeah. No way to sit there in the theater and there's like a bar going across the bottom of the screen.
Right, with like whatever the MacGuffin for the story is in particular spinning around
just
on the corner.
Yeah, just turning around.
Yeah. Although I'd imagine
there's
probably
where like Nate just totally diverged from the path to go pick up a shiny object.
Oh man. So there's a lot of like little references and Easter eggs and stuff to the games in there that I thought was neat. Although I was looking for it, and unless I just missed it, I did not see a precursor orb anywhere in there.
No.
I was kind of expecting one in a certain scene. I was like, when we were watching, I was like, well, if it's gonna be in any scene, it's gonna be in this one. And I didn't see it. Doesn't mean it wasn't there, but I didn't see one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like there's like a satisfying scene where like Tom Holland finally puts on like the last accessory that makes him look like his video game character.
Well, he didn't put on a big belt buckle at any point.
No, he didn't put on a big belt buckle.
No.
But otherwise, yeah. And then like the very last scene, they're him and Sully are wearing outfits that are very reminiscent of their outfits in the flashback sequences from the third game.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's little things in there are things that's like, if it weren't there, you wouldn't care that it wasn't there. But the fact that they are there, I think, just shows that the creators of the movie cared enough about the source material and are well enough versed in the source material to be able to show it proper attention.
Yeah.
So, I think that was just a little like flex, if sort of on their part.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like, I think especially with so many adaptations of different properties going on right now, you want to be like, hey guys, trust us, we get it, we know the source material, we love it. Here's a little Easter egg for those who also love it to show that how much we love it and how much we care about sticking to the source material.
Because boy, howdy, you do not want to be the team that releases the next Wheel of Time.
Yeah. No.
So, but yeah, so that's I highly recommend. Like, and the thing is, like, we took our parents to see this movie. We're not video game players by any stretch of the imagination. They didn't even know
what it was at all.
They had no idea what it was. They just thought it looked like a fun action movie.
And they enjoyed it.
They thoroughly enjoyed this movie. They thought it was great.
Yeah, you don't have to be an Uncharted fan to like this movie.
Yeah, and so I think that's important, and I think that is the important thing to emphasize to anyone who laments them not fitting this into the storyline of the movies. Because you need
I mean,
that
of the games.
The games, yeah.
Yeah.
Like to not make it fit into the storyline of the games, because you need that if you're gonna make a movie adaptation. If you're gonna cross to a completely different media form, it needs to be something you can follow on your own. And that was a major problem Star Wars had with the sequel trilogy of like, if you just see the trailers or the movies, there's a lot of stuff that makes no sense, and you're like, how did they get here? How did this happen? What happened here?
Oh, you got to read these novels.
Oh yeah, you got to read these novels. You got to read this comic book. You got to, read this or watch that, and you can't have that.
No, a big multimedia thing is just not a good idea.
I mean, it's fine, but the movie needs to be able to stand on its own.
Right.
So
and you shouldn't have any questions that are then like major questions that are then answered in supplementary materials.
Yeah. And so since the video game story is told out, like, we know the origins of all the characters, we know how their lives concluded, like their adventuring lives concluded, There's no more story to tell except for like random meaningless other adventures they might have gone on.
Yeah.
So
just tell a whole new, just rehash the story differently is the best way to go about it.
Right. And so I think that was definitely the right
and then
choice.
Also, if you're gonna try to adapt, say the first game, it's a big game. You couldn't fit it all in a movie, really.
No, and
there'd be things that they would have to leave out.
There's so much of that first game too that wouldn't, because there's only actually like a few locations in that game, because so much of the game is spent running around that church.
Yeah, there's a big portion of it,
and I mean, it was a trick to squeeze as much out of the environment as they could onto that Blu-ray disc.
Right, but so, anyway, I think they were the problem with trying to adapt the plot of one of the games. The first one is, I think, would be easier than any of the others, but there's so much. You'd have to cut some stuff out, and that would make some people upset. It's just better all around. Just like, let's just tell a whole new story.
Yep.
With the same characters.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. So I recommend it. I enjoyed this movie.
So, spoiler section?
Yeah.
Right. So this checklist that we were talking about, like, that they must have had. So you got Magellan's journal, because Magellan is the explorer whose treasure they're trying to find in this one.
Right.
So you got Magellan's journal, as your ancient document.
Right.
like the diary.
Well, first
of
you had
Francis
Magellan's
Drake.
map that led to Magellan's journal.
Right.
Prior to the events of the movie, solely found
which is kind of how it always goes in the games, is someone else brings, like, I got the thing, and I need Drake's knowledge.
And Drake already knows everything that,
right,
and he even knows, oh yeah, so this is what they tell you in the history books, but this is what really happened.
Yeah.
Sort of stuff too. Also, well, let's even go back further. You got the checklist of starting out in the middle of the adventure in some action set piece.
And you're just like, this is such a completely insane situation. How did he get here?
Right. Like, hold up. Yep, that's me. But you wonder how I got here. Record scratch.
Yep. So yeah, and that's straight out of the games. The second one, I think, most famously starting off with that
train hanging off the cliff. I think that was the best one, where like you see Nate, like you think he's sitting up and like stuff goes flying by his head, then the camera rotates, you realize he's hanging.
Yeah, that was a great intro. Yeah, and so it starts off in the middle of this action sequence. Then you have, jumping back to the beginning of this whole adventure. You have you have the journal belonging to Explorer. You have the artifacts that are also somehow a key to something somewhere along the way.
In this case, a pair of crosses.
Right. So it's like the cross from the fourth game, or the dagger from the second game. What was it in the third game? It was the ring, right?
Yeah.
It was Drake's ring. And so you have the artifact that is also a key to something. You have the evil billionaire also looking for the treasure.
Mm-hmm. You have the Nate figuring out. Oh, the journal is also like a series of riddles.
Yeah.
And only Nate can figure it out.
You have an ancient hidden clockwork dungeon hidden under like a church or something. In this case, a church.
A church in Barcelona.
Barcelona, yeah. You have
the person you think is an ally who betrays you. This case, it's Chloe Fraser.
Yeah, who turns out is working for the bad guy the whole time.
Right.
Like it was Sam in the fourth game.
Right, and we knew it was Chloe. I mean, since Chloe is a character from the games, we're like, it's going to be Chloe.
Yeah. You have yeah, I mean it's
a crazy set piece that they had at the beginning, but back now to
right. Which is itself only about half or 2/3 of the way through the actual story.
Right. This case, they recreated the cargo plane scene from the third one.
Yep.
Because that's a very memorable scene.
Yeah.
They made it on the cover of the box, if I'm not mistaken.
One version I believe had that, and then I think another version of the box art had him walking like with the plane crashed with all the cargo crates behind him in the desert,
and he had the AK on his back or whatever.
Yeah. Let's see. Was there? I mean, like it really does have.
You have the set piece at the end where he's fighting the bad guy at the
treasure.
The treasure and
yeah. So like the fight under the giant tree at the end of 2. Or
that was the hardest one.
Yeah, that probably was. Or like the end of 4 where you have the sword fight in the galleon.
Yeah. In this case, it was also a fight on a ship.
Yeah, on like a brig, probably. I think.
Yeah.
Like I'm not real nautical, but I played a lot of Black Flag. I think that was a brig.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to correct me in the comments.
Fortunately, I had to make the Goonies reference. The movie didn't make it.
Yeah. But oh yeah, and you also have like Nathan Drake just being like too good of a person and too trusting, and thus falling for the double cross.
Also climbing stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, Tom Holland is ripped in this movie.
I think he was bigger in this than in Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's a scene where
he's working
out and he's shirtless. It's just like, whoa. Damn. Man, yeah, it was impressive. Which, I mean, I always thought that Drake wasn't ripped enough to be able to do the shit he does with like all the upper body strength he would have to have.
You never saw him without a shirt. It looked like he always filled out that cable knit shirt all the time, but
yeah, but I mean, I don't know, his arms never felt that big.
The original concept, which I think was a weird, he's like, oh, he's the everyman. You could
fuck you, like every man could do this shit.
Do any of this stuff. I can't even do one pull up.
Yeah. The only thing that they didn't really match well from the games is Victor Sullivan doesn't say goddamn all the time.
But
we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, the way they rate, like for some reason goddams is like some of the worst swearing you can have in America. So we're like, maybe they were worried about a rated R, like an R rating, because they want to keep it PG-13.
Yeah, this movie I don't think would do well as an R.
No, it's not. There's not anything else there nowadays. If you want an R-rated movie, you got to be hard R. Otherwise, stick to PG-13.
Yeah,
man. But yeah, when Nate like put that shoulder holster on, and everyone's like, "Yay!"
Yeah, I mean, he looked just like he did from 3 with the white cable knit shirt.
Yeah,
and the shoulder holster. Yeah, except he didn't have that like scarf thing that Nate wears out in the desert. What's that? I
don't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
it has a specific name.
Right, the like patterned scarf thing.
Yeah.
You see a lot of pictures of U.S. service members in Iraq and Afghanistan wearing them.
Well, because it's a it's like some traditional thing in that part of the world.
Yeah.
That particular.
So
Scarf.
yeah, that was kind of cool. Just like, oh, there he is, like looking complete now with the shoulder holster and everything. So that was cool.
So, they got the dialogue right.
Oh yeah, the dialogue was great. Oh, we should have mentioned that in the non-spoiler part, because
Yeah.
that's not a spoiler to say. But the dialogue, yeah. Oop, just bumped the mic there. The dialogue was perfect as far as what you want from an Uncharted game. Like really dry, sarcastic humor from Drake, and a lot of the time at Sully's expense.
Yeah.
And
So that was funny, just sort of making fun of how like old Sully is.
and him making fun of how young Drake is.
Yeah. Well, so something else. Part of this game shows.
Part of this game.
Part of this movie shows Nate and Sam when they were kids at the orphanage.
At the orphanarium.
Yeah, at the orphanarium. And stuff from 4.
Right.
Right, and so they slipped that in there, and so there's always like mention of Sam here and there in the movie, and then at the end you have because Sam was also searching for Magellan's treasure, and so he had hidden clues to things in these postcards he was sending Nate.
Right,
and so at the end of the movie shows this guy in the prison cell writing a postcard to Nate. It was obviously supposed to be Sam.
Yeah.
So we're going to get Sam in a future movie, I'm sure.
Yeah, also at the end of the movie, you get so like in the like it wasn't even mid credits. It was like after the end card of the movie, but before the credits.
Yeah.
And so you get Nate in a bar. He's exchanging his Francis Drake ring for a map. And the guy mentions like, or Drake mentions like, why does Roman want the ring? Which Roman was he was the rich billionaire looking for the same treasure in the first game, right?
Yeah. El Dorado.
Yeah.
El goddamn Dorado, according to
Victor Sullivan.
Victor Sullivan.
Yeah, and so that was cool. It's a reference
and then
to that.
He says, he's like, what do you want with this old German map? I'm like, an old German map that would lead to an old German submarine in the middle of the jungle?
Right. In the middle of the South American jungle. In the Amazon, upriver in the Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully, I mean, I really liked this movie. I hope they continue the series.
And then Sully shows up with a mustache?
Oh yeah, Sully shows up with his mustache and his revolver.
Right.
Which were both absent throughout the main part of the movie. So I thought that was a cool little payoff there at the end.
Yeah.
And then they get out of there and they run outside and they hold their hands up and they say, "Oh, not you." And we don't get to see who it is. Presumably it's Roman, or it's that
Rojas or whatever, or
no, not
or
Raja. Eddie Raja?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the guy? I think he was the
yeah.
mercenary guy, the pirate guy providing all the goons to Roman, as I recall.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played the first game.
Right. Remember the names.
So,
but Gus excited for another one.
Yeah, which I genuinely hope they make. I thought this was really good.
As do I.
And currently has a 6.8 on IMDb.
Seems a little low.
Yeah, I would probably have rated it a 7. Like, yeah, I mean, it's definitely got its issues. Just because like there's a lot of like pretty ridiculous stuff done in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like a Fast and the Furious level stuff, but
it's no more ridiculous than a lot of stuff in the games.
Right, but it's somehow you can somehow forgive more of that in a video game than in a movie.
True. Like, I guess the helicopters lifting those ships out of that cave.
Oh yeah, the sky cranes, lifting the ships up. I was like, okay, look, the lift capacity of those helicopters is very impressive, but I would have maybe put 2 on each ship.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make us like believe it a little more. You'd have had to rewrite that action sequence, but
that's true.
But yeah, I don't know. Antonio Banderas was good as a villain.
Yeah, when is he not good?
Yeah. Dude, El Mariachi's rough.
It was actually him and El Mariachi, was it?
Wasn't it?
I thought El Mariachi's Desperado's a sequel, but I thought El
It is a
Mariachi.
sequel.
I know, but I thought Desperado was the first one that Mariachi was played by Antonio Banderas.
Nolan's looking it up.
El Mariachi. Robert Rodriguez. No, El Mariachi was Carlos Gallardo.
Oh, okay. Well then, all right.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd seen El Mariachi once, but pretty sure it wasn't actually Antonio Banderas playing El Mariachi.
Yeah. All right. Well, and I think I've only seen it once as well, but I just remember that movie. Like, even despite it being Spanish and seeing it subbed, like, I just remember that being kind of rough.
Well, I think it was a student. I think it was Robert Rodriguez's like student film or something.
Yeah. But anyway, so I guess Antonio Banderas has always been good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then like I said, Tom Holland is great as a younger Drake. Mark Wahlberg was fine as Sullivan. The movie also had like the tough as nails mercenary person providing all the goons to the villain too.
Yeah, gotta have that.
In the form of the character Braddock, played by
Tati Gabrielle.
Tati, is that how you pronounce that?
I don't know who the hell
Tati
is.
Gabrielle. I don't know what else she's been in. She was in the Emoji Movie. Not a whole lot I've seen. I'm looking at it. Bunch of TV.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen anything she's been in otherwise.
Yeah.
She was good. I mean, just looking at her, you believe that like she's someone that could kick my ass.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
You know, like yeah, her being a tough fight for our main characters is completely believable, just based on appearance. So, I think it was good casting all around. Honestly, I was pretty happy with it. They got the young Nate and the young Sam cast pretty well, I think.
Oh, dude, we didn't mention the cameo from Nolan North.
Oh yeah, Nolan North. Yeah, so yeah, they after the whole plane sequence that's ripped right out of the third game, except they're over the ocean instead of over the desert. They ultimately wash up on shore at like a sandals resort or something in the Philippines.
It's Nate and Chloe.
Yeah, it's Nate and Chloe. They wash up at this like fancy like a sandals resort or something, and Nolan North is on the beach looking at him as they walk up. And he's like, "What the hell?
Like, what happened to you?
What happened to you?" And Nate explains like, "Oh, I,
fell out of a
cargo plane or something." And Nolan North goes, "Huh, something like that happened to me one time too." It's just a little nod, a little like thing for people who have played the games
and know who Nolan
and
North is.
know who Nolan North is. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah. Anything else to add to that?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So the next movie we're going to see, and I realize that like some of what I've said about like, oh yeah, upcoming what we're going to see is this or that. I don't know if stuff's getting moved around or whatever, because I always go based off of what IMDb has for upcoming showtime or upcoming releases. And I had to go back and listen to it, but back in January I was like, oh yeah, we're going to see Morbius at the end of January. IMDb said it was releasing at the end of January. We saw a trailer today. It's releasing April 1st. Oh yeah, because I was like, what if they release it and they're like, you thought we'd put Jared Leto as the lead in this movie? April Fools. So let's see here. Looking at February. Is there anything else coming out this month? The Outfit is out this weekend already. Like, it's out already.
Okay.
We were interested potentially in seeing that. That's something that's like, if we see it, cool. If we don't make time, not going to sweat it. The first weekend in March is The Batman. Of course, we're going to see that. I actually think it looks pretty neat. It's like they just are actively trying to make a darker movie than the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. Like,
I mean, those are already pretty dark.
Like, literally darker. It looks like everything is the middle of the night. Absolutely every scene is the middle of the night.
The sun never shines on Gotham City.
Yeah.
Maybe someone should check for an evil weather machine somewhere.
Let's see. And then I think the only other thing coming out in March that we're probably going to see is The Lost City, which looks kind of dumb, but it looks like a fun movie.
Yeah.
I like Channing Tatum. I want Channing Tatum to be in more stuff, so... more stuff other than Magic Mike. I'm not seeing that Magic Mike sequel, but he's in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Brad Pitt too.
In The Lost City, not
Magic Mike.
I assume not.
I don't think he's in there, but he could be, I guess. But he's in The Lost City too. So
Magic Mike's Last Dance. It's in pre-production, and all they've cast is Channing Tatum. In April though, we've got. And again, this is all according to right now on IMDb. Which, if you're getting your movie information somewhere other than IMDb, the hell's wrong with you? So yeah, we got Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Are we seeing this Fantastic Beasts movie? Do we give a shit at all?
I, at this point, don't care.
I mean, even before Warner Brothers gave Johnny Depp the shaft, I didn't care.
No, not after that last one. I liked the first one okay.
Yeah,
and
fine.
so I was kind of excited to see the second one. Then I saw it, I'm like, wow. All right, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, part of the issue I had was hey, remember that kind of touching romance that was in that first one? Just throw it out the window.
Yeah.
It's done. Pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also we saw this trailer today. We didn't really know what was up with this movie. We saw the trailer for the first time today when we were at the movie. The Northman.
So I've been seeing,
starring Alexander Skarsgård.
I've been seeing on Instagram a lot of ads for that. But I hadn't watched the trailer.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd seen the trailer. There's a picture. This is supposed to be a Valkyrie or something, right?
Looks like.
She's got stuff embedded in her teeth or something.
No.
I thought they were braces in the trailer. It went by too quickly, and I was like, that doesn't make sense though.
Right.
And yeah, it looks like, I don't know, maybe she's got some jewel encrusted teeth. Is that a thing? Oh yeah, people put lapis lazuli in their
I guess
teeth, right? Was the thing.
Maybe. I don't remember any mention of Valkyries having those in Norse mythology, but I could be totally wrong. I'm by no means a Norse mythology scholar.
But you did listen to Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology on
Audible.
On Audible, right?
I did. Read by Neil Gaiman.
Read by Neil Gaiman, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that movie looks pretty cool. Looks super dope. Just bumped the mic there again. No idea as to the accuracy for historical or mythological on it, but it looks neat. Also, was legitimately surprised that it wasn't an A24 movie.
Well, I mean, right there at the beginning, you had Willem Dafoe.
Right. Yeah. So, but anyway, that looks super cool. We also got the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah, that looks good.
I'm not even gonna get into that, but go watch the trailer because it looks bonkers. And starring Nicolas Cage, and it's the cagiest thing. So, and also the bad guys looks pretty neat too. It's got Sam Rockwell in it.
Oh, that's that animated movie. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sam Rockwell's just about enough of a reason for me to see pretty much anything.
Yeah. Totally.
Sam Rockwell's great. Sam Rockwell was the best part of Iron Man 2. Thank you.
Yeah, he was. He's also really great in JoJo's Rabbit. Jojo Rabbit.
JoJo's
not plural.
JoJo owns
JoJo.
the rabbit.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and
ownership of the JoJo Rabbit.
And so I think what might have happened is I think Morbius released already in some other country is why IMDb had it because they didn't list it for April.
Mm.
So but we'll also be seeing Morbius in April, obviously. According to Doctor Strange, according to IMDb, it comes out May 6th. Sam Raimi Getting into the MCU, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. You really need to watch What If before that movie comes out.
I need to finish watching What If. I've watched some of it.
Right. You really need to finish What If before that movie comes out. Just from what I've seen from the trailers. And then also, again, according to IMDb, Top Gun Maverick and John Wick Chapter 4.
Wasn't Maverick supposed to come out like last November?
Yeah, it was a COVID delay thing. Also, the Bob's Burgers movie.
Yeah. I hope Keanu does a better job fighting in John Wick Chapter 4 than he did in The Matrix Resurrection.
Here's the thing. I don't think people would forgive it in John Wick. Like, that's the reason to watch John Wick.
Well, people didn't forgive it in The Matrix.
That's true. But The Matrix, I think it would hurt the performance of the movie more for John Wick than it would for The Matrix.
Okay.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, that's what we got coming out for like the next few months.
I wonder how many more movies like this Keanu has in him, though. He's like 57 or something.
I don't know. At some point, he's going to be the hobo king. Raising pigeons.
Yeah, yelling, get this man a gun.
Right. Lawrence Fishburne is back for that, so. And it's got Bill Skarsgård. And Donnie Yen. So that, I mean, the cast is good. Good. It's good.
Donnie Yen was that, or no. Was he in that previous one, or that guy got killed? That Donnie Yen?
I don't know. Rogue One is my first thing. I think the thing I think of with Donnie Yen.
Okay, no, that wasn't Donnie Yen.
No. But yeah, so that should be good though. Anyways, that's what we got coming up. So if any of that sounds of interest to you, come back, check that out, hit that subscribe and like button. Go check out our other reviews. What was our last one?
What was our last one?
Put you on the spot. You weren't ready for it.
I never am.
No, you were ready for it last time, right? One of the more recent ones, you were on it. You knew.
Death on the Nile.
Death on the Nile.
Yeah, the last one I knew that it was The Matrix.
Yeah,
And
so
Death on the Nile.
yeah, go check out a review of Death on the Nile. And come back, check out other upcoming reviews. We're back in the full swing of things with movies. It seems like everyone's over this whole COVID thing. No one at the theater wearing masks. Sold out showings.
Except the employees.
Except for the employees. Sold out showings. Theaters back on like a active release schedule. Good times. So, yeah. Until next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Toodles.